What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are working on the Rotary Miata and we have lots of parts, which is super exciting. I also upgraded to a new camera, so I think the quality should look better. It's looking pretty nice right now. So we have, let's see. We have with us a new oil pan, the turbo, and a manifold for the Rotary Miata, which is super exciting because last time we did an engine test fit, the oil pan was a big problem, and it'll be nice to have the manifold to get an actual turbo situation mocked up, just so we can see where everything is sitting. So I'm super excited. I got this oil pan from CX Racing, which I know is kind of like a cheaper area, but this specific oil pan was made for a Datsun 510 swap. So it's, as you can see, let's see, very rear biased. Rear sump oil pan came with a pickup tube, which is pretty nice because I was a little nervous about that. So I think that'll just bolt in like right here, which should be cool. It's pretty thick aluminum, which is nice. It is actually extremely thick right here, and it's got some baffling inside, which is nice for you know, quick turns and stuff. So hopefully our oil will not get messed up in our car, which is really nice to know, especially since rotaries are so oil heavy or oil reliant, I guess. I don't know the right word. Anyway, moving on to the manifold. This is also CX Racing, pretty much where I got everything. Also for a Datsun 510 swap. Top mount, you can see how thick this flange is. It's actually nuts. So we should have plenty of strength from this manifold. We got a V-band style clamp for our wastegate, which is sweet. And we got this, I'm trying to remember exactly what the specs are. Maybe I have it on here. Well, that's the number for it if any of you guys are interested. I think it's like a 1 point something AR 62 millimeter turbo, so good for like probably 350, 400 horsepower. It's not like gigantic or anything, but it should do the job for a Miata, which is exactly what we're using it for. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the garage and get this oil pan installed first, and then I'm not sure if I want to mount the manifold right away or put the engine in the car and then the manifold. Play it by ear, but step one, get the oil pan on. So we're gonna start doing that. Ooh, check out the skyline. She's wrapped, looking great. Video coming out soon, check it out. Alright, so step one is going to be removing the old blown turbo off the block, and getting rid of some of this stuff over here. Probably the wastegate, get the manifold off, just so we can have this section empty. When we put the engine in the car, we can just bolt up the manifold when it's in the car. I think that's going to be the best move going forward, so we're going to start taking this guy. Okay, that's one. Whoa, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, that's off. Alright, we got the turbo off. We just got an open exhaust port now, which is, I don't know how that's supposed to look, but I don't see any problems, so that's good. This guy's off, and I think I'm gonna go grab the other manifold and just put it on just to see how it looks. Well, it has been a couple weeks since I threw the manifold on in the last clip. To be honest, I've been kind of busy, and it is like 110 in Arizona right now, so the motivation has been pretty low to get back going on the Miata again, but I've decided today we are going to throw the oil pan in, and if I feel like not passing out, throwing the engine in the engine bay. I went and picked up this engine support bar from Harbor Freight along with the jack, because mine has been leaking a lot and I don't really want to use it. So I'm gonna have to take the fenders off the Miata to get the support bar from crushing them, which is probably a good call, and then use the engine hoist to throw it in there and support it with the support bar.
My engine hoist has like a slight leak. I think the O-rings are a little bit old. So it just like kind of slowly comes down. So putting the oil pan on is going to be kind of a pain right now because I'm going to have to pull it up with the engine hoist, have the engine kind of floating, pull off the oil pan, and put the new one on, all while still like constantly jacking it up a little bit while it slowly falls down. So it's going to be a little bit of a task, and honestly I've just been putting it off. But I went and picked up some new hardware for the oil pan because the new oil pan is like an inch thick and the old one is literally no thickness. So I had to pick up some new bolts to get that on there, and we're going to go ahead and grab the engine hoist and throw the engine on it and get started.
Alright, we got the engine up in the air. So first thing you can kind of see is the engine mount is held on by 3 bolts right underneath, so we're going to have to take those out. And then we're going to start getting all the surrounding bolts off and then pull the oil pan down. So let's get started on grabbing these. Well, there's definitely still oil in there. Okay, probably should have drained that, but it's okay. Alright, give me a sec to clean this up. Alright, now we gotta take the oil feed tube off and throw in the new one that came with the CX Racing Kit, which is actually pretty nice looking. So these look like 10mm bolts, should be pretty easy to just pop these off. Alright. Oh geez, they bottom out right here, don't they? Okay, so I need new hardware for that. Oh god. Alright, I guess we're testing with no oil feed. I went over to Ace Hardware and picked up, I believe these are M6 by 20mm. Just in case you were curious, it might be 25, not 100% sure. Well, the engine pan is now on the engine, so that's good to go. And I just took off the bumper and both fenders and got this engine support bar all measured up and kind of in the right place. Obviously I'm going to take it off before the engine comes in here, but for now I think we're good to start hoisting up the engine and getting it sit inside. I believe, right? I don't think I'm missing anything, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start jacking this thing up, and I'm probably going to have a friend come help and get it in. And once the engine is in the car, I do need to jack up the front a little bit because I lowered the front side of the car so the engine will fit in a little bit easier. So we'll have to get it in, jack up the car, mount it to the support bar, and then we should be good to go. So we're going to get started on that. Well, after about an hour of fiddling and fidgeting, the engine is actually in the car, which is awesome. It is pretty much fully supported by this bar
and I got it centered up pretty well. Everything's looking good. So the nice thing is you can see this little gap in the steering rack. That's exactly where it was hitting last time, and it looks like we have plenty of space without the engine mount there. So you can see these two studs right here. That's where the original engine mount went, and we're probably just gonna have to come off that and go probably weld a plate in between these two and just have a nice little thing kind of going around the steering rack right there. So that's going to be a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. You can also see up here, this is the slave cylinder for the clutch, and it has pretty much a full range of freedom. It's like barely touching this section of the firewall, which I could probably just hit with a sledgehammer a little bit and clear it up. We also have this shifter is like a little far forward, but it's not terrible. Definitely can work with it. Maybe just get like a likewise shift knob that kind of zigzags up. So not too bad. What else we got? The manifold fits pretty well. Can move this wiring. It clears everything underneath, which is super nice, and looks all good over here. I'm a little nervous to put the turbo on. It might hit the strut tower, and I might have to get a little spacer to kind of push it over it. So I'm about to test that, but I'm just showing you around right now. And I was having some problems getting the engine like totally flat, but just adjusting these two things eventually got it there. And if you look underneath, this actually isn't touching, so we're clearing the steering rack by like maybe an inch. I don't know, I might go a little bit lower, but I think when I end up making the engine mounts, it'll sag a little further down. That's why I gave myself some space. And this is just there for emergencies. But yeah, pretty good. It's actually in the car now, which is freaking sweet. And we're gonna throw the turbo on because I want to, and I want to see the turbo in the engine bay. So let's do that. Holy shit. Oh my god. Jesus. It is 100% going to poke out of the hood. Oh my god. That's insane. Well, I gotta say that went pretty well. Honestly, way better than last time. And the engine's in the car. The turbo is gonna stick completely out of the hood, which is pretty sweet. Wasn't expecting that, but 100% okay with chopping a hole in the hood and have that kind of poke out. That'll be super menacing and pretty dope. So, I don't know. I guess the next step is to do engine mounts and transmission mounts. I still need to kind of figure out what I want to do. It's looking pretty weird. So it's going to be some weird mounts and stuff coming up. But the engine's in the car. The turbo is insane and also in the car. I mean, just look at this thing. That is going to stick out of the hood super menacingly. Obviously, I still need to clock the turbo. Probably going to have this come down here somewhere. I'm kind of tempted to do a V-mount radiator and intercooler. Pretty tempting, but you know, we'll see how things go. And I think I'm going to have to get a different coolant routing system because that's also going to hit the hood. Probably just going to need to snake straight out here and come down or something. So things to figure out, but a big step done. The engine is here. It's in the car. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to go support the channel, check out finiteco.net. Go buy some shirts. I've been making new designs. Have stickers and stuff like that. So go check it out. Support the channel. More of the build coming soon. See you in the next one.